Hello, dear learners. Welcome to teaching learning session of Sociology. In Insight series of lectures of Sociology, this is our third class. In last lecture, we discussed about society and community. In this class, we'll discuss about group, association, and institutions. What is group? Group is one of the most important concepts in sociology. It plays an important role in process of socialization, formation of personality, and in development of social organization. That is why group have an important place among other basic concepts of sociology. W.G. Sumner, C.H. Cooley, T.M. Newcomb, R.K. Merton have made an important contribution to the development of concepts of sociology. Group. As a social animal, man always lives in a group. He never lives in isolation. The very existence of man is tied up to group. Human forms a group to fulfill his different needs and to attain common goals. Human relationships and existence depends on the interactions takes place in the group. When individuals working together creates various types of groups. Sociologist H.M. Johnson remarked that sociology is a science that deals with social group. Group provides us companionship. It provides us experience, recognition, and security in both physical and emotional sense. A social group is collection of interacting individuals who participates in similar activities and have consciousness of joint interaction. There exists some degree of reciprocity and mutual awareness among the individuals. Members of social group have similar goals. Members interact according to some established pattern. A social group is an organized one. Thus, in the truest sociological sense, a group refers to a collection of individuals who are brought into social relationships with one another and organize themselves for the fulfillment of common aim. So, important thing about the group is collection of individual, common aims, and interaction among the individuals. If there is no interaction, there will be no group. According to McIver and Page, social group is any collection of human beings who are brought into human relationships with one another. Relationship is important according to McIver. According to Oganemkov, whenever two or more individuals come together and influence one another, they may be said to constitute a group. According to Hammonds, group means such individuals that interact according to established pattern. So according to Hammonds, interaction in an established pattern is important for a group. According to Bogardas, a social group may be thought of a number of persons, two or more, who have some common objectives of attentions, who are stimulating to each other, who have common loyalty and participate in similar activities. According to Horton, groups are aggregate or categories of people who have consciousness of membership and of interaction. So, on the basis of various definitions of social group, we can infer that it is a collection of individuals who are bound together into some kind of social relationship and who share a common sense of belongingness. Right? Belongingness should be there and social relationship is required to form a group. Characteristics of a group. What are the characteristics of a group? What all is required to form a group? First characteristic is given number of individual. A social group consists of given number of individuals. Without a number of individuals, no social group can be formed. Two or more than two individuals are necessary to form a group. These individuals belongs to the group as member of the group and are considered as a unit of a group. They are considered, each and every individual is considered as a unit of a group. Second characteristic of a group is reciprocal relation. There exists a reciprocal relation excuse me, among the member of a social group. These reciprocal relations among the members, excuse me, second characteristic is reciprocal relations. What is this reciprocal relation? Reciprocal relation among the members are on the basis of foundation of social group, without which social group cannot be formed. It is the basis of the group. It is the foundation of the group. The member must interact or interrelated with each other. So second characteristic is interaction. First is number of individuals should be there. Second is there must be interaction between the individual. Third characteristic is common goal. It is important characteristic of social group. The aims, objectives, and ideals of the members should be common. For the fulfillment of common goals, social groups are formed. Here, the individual interests are sacrificed for the group interest. Group interest is more important than the individual's interest. Another characteristic is sense of unity and solidarity. Members of social group are always tied by sense of unity and bond of solidarity. Common goals are mutual relation strength, this bond of unity and strength. This creates loyalty and sympathy among the members of social group. Next characteristic is a strong sense of we feeling. Member of social group is characterized by the strong sense of we feeling. This we feeling fosters cooperation among members. Because of this we feeling, the members identifies themselves with the group and consider others as outsider. Next characteristic is group norms. Every group has its own regulations and norms, which the members are supposed to follow. With the help of these rules and norms, group exercises control over its member. These norms can be written or unwritten. Any violation of these norms is followed by punishments. The group norms maintain unity and integrity in the group. So to maintain the unity and integrity in the group, group norms are important. It plays an important role. It is one of the important characteristics of a group. Another characteristic of group is similar behavior. Member of social group shows similar behavior. As interest, ideals, values of a group are common. Hence, its members behave in a similar manner. The similar behavior helps in the achievement of common goals. Group control is another characteristic of a group. Social group exercises some sort of control over its members and other activities. This control may be direct or indirect. Social group may be temporary or may be permanent in nature. They are permanent groups like family and temporary group like crowd, mob, etc. Social group are dynamic in nature. It is not static. It responds to the different changes. The nature of group changes. It may be slow or rapid, but it bounds to occur. It could be slow, change could be slow, but it is bound to occur. Social group have established pattern, right? These were the characteristics of group. Classification of group. Now we'll discuss about the classifications of group. There are many criteria by which social groups can be classified, right? Um, Sociologist Ginsberg says group can be classified in number of ways according to size, according to distribution, permanence, and inclusiveness of the relationship on which they rest, mode of formation, and on the basis of type of organization and so forth. There are many classification. It is based on many factors. H.T. Majumdar, in his book The Grammar of Sociology, mentioned about 10 dichotomous social groups, such as primary and secondary group, in-group and out-group, permanent and transitory group, voluntary and involuntary group, vertical and horizontal group, homogeneous and heterogeneous group, formal informal group, community and society, institutional and non-institutional group, contractual and non-contractual group, according to H.T. Majumdar. He described these types of group in his book. Now, George Simmel classifies the social group on the basis of its size. On the basis of size, he divided the group into monad. Monad group, a single person, as a focus of group relationship. Second type is dyad group, a group of at least 2%, and triad, a group of 3%. So according to Simmel, monad group, dyad group, and triad group on the basis of size of the group. C.H. Cooley classifies groups into two, primary group and secondary group, on the basis of kind of contact. Cooley divided the group on the basis of contact into primary and secondary group. Sanderson classifies group into three, involuntary group, voluntary group, and delegate groups. George Hessen classifies the group on the basis of their relationship to other group. First is unsocial group, according to Hessen. Types is unsocial group, pseudo-social group, anti-social group, and pro-social group. So Hessen divided the groups into four: unsocial, pseudo-social, antisocial, and pro-social on the basis of their relationship to other groups. Miller divided the social group into horizontal and vertical groups. Tornish classifies groups into Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. Emile Durkheim divides group into mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity on the basis of mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity. Sumner classifies group into two, in-group and out-group, on the basis of consciousness of kind. So Sumner divided on the basis of consciousness of kind, in-group and out-group. Park have classified group into territorial and non-territorial group. Newcomb divides the group into two, that is positive and negative group. So various sociologists have divided the groups into various categories on the basis of various factors. But out of all these classifications made by Cooley and Sumner need special attention, right? Cooley divided the group into two, primary group and secondary group. This primary group and secondary group is important. What is primary group? Cooley, in his book Social Organization, which was published in year 1909, given the most popular classification of social group. In this book, he classified groups into primary and secondary type on the basis of nature of social relations and closeness. He divided the groups on the basis of closeness and social relations, primary group and secondary group. Primary group are the nucleus of all organizations. They are the nurturer of human virtues like love, sympathy, and cooperation. The real sense of man develops in primary group. It is one of the important groups. Primary group is characterized by intimate and face-to-face association and cooperation. There must be intimacy among the members. There should be face-to-face interaction and cooperation is required to form a primary group. They meet face-to-face for mutual help, companionship, and for the other discussions of the common problems. Direct, informal, and primary relationships are found in this group, primary group. Direct relationship should be there. Relationship should be informal. There should be no formalities. If there are the formalities, it is not a primary group. Our family is our primary group. Right? Informal relation exists in the primary group. Primary group are universal group. According to Cooley, he emphasizes on face-to-face associations, sympathy, and we feeling among the members. According to him, these characteristics are very important for primary group, to form a primary group. We feeling, face-to-face association should be there, and sympathy should be there. The relationship among members of primary group are intimately personal. All members directly cooperate with their fellows. At this group first comes in the life of an individual, hence it is called a primary group. It continues to influence the members of a group from birth to death. Primary group plays an important role in process of socialization. We learn socialization process from this group. It shapes up the personality of an individual. Our personality depends on our primary group. It plays an important role in formation of our personality. It plays an important role in socialization process. So now you can understand this, how important this primary group is. Family, playgroup, and neighborhood are the examples of primary group. Characteristics of primary group. Professor Davis divide these characteristics as internal and external. He divided it into two categories: internal characteristics of a primary group and external characteristics of a primary group. External characteristics of a primary group are physical conditions of primary groups. One can observe these characteristics from outside. These are essential for formation of primary group. Kingsley Davis opines that mainly there are three physical conditions or external characteristics. First external characteristic is small size. According to Davis, size should be small. Primary group size should be small. Primary group is very small in size because it consists of less number of individuals. Due to its small size, members know each other personally and intimate relationships can be established among themselves. The smaller is the size, the greater is intimacy among the members. Small size also leads to better understanding among the members. So first characteristic, external characteristic is small size. Why is it required? I explained it to you. Second characteristic, external characteristic, according to Davis, is physical proximity. Physical proximity or closeness among the members is another important essential characteristic of a primary group. Personal, close, and intimate relationship could be possible only when members are physically close to each other. Face to face relations, seeing and talking with each other, make exchange of ideas, thoughts, and opinions easy. Third external characteristic is stability or durability of relationship. To develop closeness, intimate personal relationship among the members, primary group should be stable. Internal characteristics of primary group. These characteristics are related to the inner part of primary relationship. External characteristics were related to the external part. These characteristics develop due to the external characteristics. First internal characteristic is similar ends. Members of primary groups have similar ends, desires, attitude, and goals. They cooperate with each other for attainment of their goals. Each and every member work towards the welfare of the group. Interest of one become the interest of others. Pleasure and pain of each member is shared by all. It creates a sense of we feeling. Second internal characteristic is similar background. The members of primary group not only have physical closeness and similar ends, but have similar backgrounds. They are brought up in similar environment. They are equally experienced and intelligent based on their besides they are similar in many respects. Relationship is personal. The third important internal characteristic of primary group is relationship among the members of primary group is not close but also personal. Each member knows each other personally and is interested in another. Primary relationship is not transferable because one cannot fill the absence of of other. Say example, no one can take place the mother's position in the family. Mother is mother. Sister cannot be mother. Father cannot behave like a mother. So it is not at all transferable. Relationship is inclusive. Primary relationship is all inclusive because it includes all aspects of personality of members. Here a person knows about other in detail. And to quote, no formality is found in primary relationships. Relationship is spontaneous. Primary relationship is spontaneous in nature. It grows spontaneously among the members. No special effort is made for the growth of primary relationships. No effort is required to make a relationship with their siblings. It grows spontaneously. Control over members. Primary group exercises maximum control over its member. It is possible due to face-to-face relationship and because the members know each other personally. Because of the control, members of primary group perform their social role very effectively. This prepares individuals to live a successful social life. Next is individual interest is subordinate to group interest. Group interest is more important than individual's interest. In primary group, individual interest is subordinated to the group interest. The common interest predominates over individual interest. All members work cooperatively to fulfill the common interest in which their individual interest also get fulfilled. Importance of primary group. Why it is important? Primary group shapes the personality of individual. It plays a very important role in molding, shaping and developing the personality of individual. Individual is socialized in primary group. It forms the social nature, ideas and ideals of individual. His self develops in primary group. A child learns social norms, standards, beliefs, morals, values, sacrifice, cooperation, sympathy, and culture in a primary group. Next is primary group fulfills different psychological and physiological need of an individual, such as love, affection, fellow feeling, cooperation, companionship, and exchange of thoughts. In primary group, he lives among his near and dear ones. He plays an important role in reduction of emotional stress and mental tensions. Participation with primary group provides a sense of belongingness to the individual. He considers himself as important member of the group. Next importance is individual lives a spontaneous living in primary group. Spontaneity is more directly and clearly revealed in primary group. Due to this spontaneous living, members of primary group come freely together in an informal manner. This informal group satisfies the needs of spontaneous living. Primary group provides security to all its members, particularly to children, to old and invalids. It also provides security to its members at the time they need. Members always feel a kind of emotional support and feel that there are someone on his side. So primary group provides us a security. It is very important. Primary next importance is primary group acts as an agency of social control. This group exercises control over the behavior of its members and regulates their relationships in an informal way. Hence, there is no chance of individual member to go astray. It teaches individual to work according to the prescribed rules and regulations. Next importance of primary group is it develops democratic spirit within self. It develops the quality of love, affection, sympathy, cooperation, mutual help, and sacrifice, tolerance, equality among its members. So primary group is responsible for development of these values. Next importance is primary group introduces individual to society. It teaches them how to lead a successful life in a society. It is the breeding ground of moors and nurseries and nurses his loyalties. It helps an individual to internalize social norms and learn culture. So we learn our cultures, moods, loyalties, norms from the primary group. Primary group increases the efficiency of individuals by creating a favorable atmosphere of work. It provides them the security and teaches many good qualities. Primary group also fulfills different needs of the society. It is the nucleus of all social organization, right? So primary group is very important. It is responsible for the personal development of an individual and it helps in socialization. Secondary group. What is secondary group? Cooley developed the concept of primary group. but and secondary group too. Although he hasn't mentioned about secondary group, but we assume that secondary group was developed by this concept was developed by Cooley. Secondary group are almost opposite to primary groups. They are large in size and are of short durations. In secondary group, face-to-face contacts are lacking. In secondary group, human contacts are superficial and undefined. Members of secondary group do not know each other personally and exerts only indirect influences over others. There is no direct relationship in secondary group. Relations among the members of secondary group are limited in scope and significance and are based on the self-interest calculation. While in primary group interest is more important than individual's interest, but in secondary group, individual interest is more important, right? They know each other or they come in contact with each other for their personal interests. In secondary group, individual members cooperate and communicate with each other through indirect means and formal rules. Interaction among members are formal, utility oriented, and interest based. That is why secondary group are also called as special interest group. Relations among members in secondary group are impersonal and touch and go type and secondary in nature. Bogardas called the secondary group as touch and go, chuo or jao. Secondary groups are characteristics of modern society. Specialization and division of labor are the main characteristics of secondary group. A city, nation, political party, trade union, corporation, factory. These are the examples of secondary group. Landis called secondary group as cold world. Secondary group are consciously formed to fulfill some objectives. Bogardas called secondary group as touch and go and Landis cold world. Characteristics of secondary group: large size. Secondary group are large in size. They comprise of large number of people and these members are spread all over the world. For example, Escon society. Its members scattered all over the world. Due to its large size, indirect relations are found among the members. Second characteristic is definite aims. Secondary groups are formed to fulfill some definite aims. The success of secondary group is judged according to the extent by which they became able to fulfill those aims. A school, a college, or university is open to provide education. So there is a definite aim. Next characteristic is volunteer membership. Membership of secondary group is volunteer in nature. No one can force anyone to be the member of that group. It depends on the will of the member to be will of an individual to be member of that group or not. Example, club membership. It depends on individual's will. Next characteristic is formal, indirect, and impersonal relation. The relations among the members of secondary group are indirect, formal, and impersonal type. People do not develop personal relations among themselves in secondary groups. Relations in secondary group is not face to face, rather touch and go type and casual. They interact among themselves in accordance with formal rules and regulations. Another characteristic is formal rules. A secondary group is characterized by formal group or written rules. These formal rules and regulation exercises control over its members. A secondary group is organized and regulated by formal rules. A formal authority is set up and clear-cut division of labor is made. Who do not obey those formal rules and regulation loses the membership. So rules are very important in secondary groups. Next characteristic is status and position of an individual depends on his role. Status and position of each and every member depends on his role that he plays in the group. Next is individuality in person. Secondary group is popularly known as special interest group. People become member of secondary group to fulfill their self-interest. Hence, they always give stresses on the fulfillment of their self-interest. After fulfillment of these interests, they are no longer interested in the group. As a result, secondary group individuality in person is found. So everyone stresses on fulfillment of his or her own needs. Next characteristic is self-dependence among members. Due to the large size of secondary group, the relationship among the members are indirect and impersonal. Members are also selfish. As a result, each member tries to safeguard and fulfill his or her own interest by himself or herself. Next characteristic is dissimilar ends. Secondary group is characterized by dissimilar ends too. The members of secondary groups have different and diverse ends. They fulfill their diverse ends. People join to fulfill their ends, diverse ends. People join secondary groups. Next characteristic is relationship is a mean to an end. Secondary relationship is not an end itself, rather, it is a mean to an end. Establishment of a relationship is not end, rather, individual establishes the relationship to fulfill his self interest. They become friends for specific purpose. Formal social control. A secondary group exercises control over its members in a formal way, such as police, court, army, etc. Formal means of social control plays an important role in secondary group. Next characteristic is division of labor. A secondary group is characterized by division of labor. The duties, functions, and responsibilities of members are clearly defined. Each member has to perform the allotted functions or roles. Importance of secondary group. Why secondary group is important? Efficiency. Secondary group increases the efficiency of its members. To fulfill their self-interest and specific goals, all members work efficiently. A clear-cut division of labor is found among the members. A formal authority is set up and set of rules are formulated to manage and regulate the secondary group efficiently. Emphasis is given on getting the work done efficiently. Unlike primary group, emotions and sentiment is subordinate to the achievement. For this, duty and responsibilities of members are clearly defined. All the members try to work efficiently to fulfill the goals. This helps in increasing the efficiency of members. Second importance is wider opportunities. It provides a better and wider opportunities for the members to develop their talents. Next is wider outlook. Secondary group helps in broadening the outlook of its members. It is large in size and its members are widespread. As the secondary group accommodates a large members, a variety of individuals and localities, this widens the outlook of its members. Besides, secondary group is more universal in its judgment than the primary group. Functional in character. Next importance. A secondary group relations are devoid of sentiment characteristics like of primary group. The secondary relationships are instrumental in accomplishing certain specific tasks. In this sense, secondary groups may be regarded as functional in character. Now we can make a distinction between the primary group and secondary group. Primary group is, we can make the distinction on the basis of size. Primary group is very small in size and confined to a small area. It consists of very small number of individuals, but size of secondary group is very large and it is spread all over the world. It consists of thousands of members who is widespread and scattered all over the world. So first difference is size. Primary group is smaller in size while secondary group is larger in size. Second is stability. We can differentiate it on the basis of stability. Primary group are relatively stable and durable. Family is a stable organization, while secondary groups may be temporary or permanent. These are temporary groups like flood relief associations. Secondary groups are special interest groups. After the fulfillment of interest, it automatically vanishes. Then we can distinguish between primary group and secondary group on the basis of cooperation. The nature of cooperation in primary and secondary group also differs. The member of primary group directly cooperate with each other. They play, sit and discuss together. Due to face contact and personal relationships, direct cooperation among members is possible. But members of secondary groups indirectly cooperate with each other. There exists indirect relationship among the members. Then there is difference in the structure. According to type of structure, both primary and secondary group can be distinguished. Primary group is based on the informal structure and is very simple. There is no formal structure in primary group. All the members participates in the same process and it is regulated by informal rules and regulations. While secondary group is based on the formal structure and is regulated by set of formal rules and regulations. We can differentiate it on the basis of relationship. Uh, there exists a direct, intimate, and personal relationship among the members of primary group. The relationships are all inclusive, but there exists indirect, impersonal relationship among the members of a secondary group. The relationship in secondary group are formal. Difference in methods of social control. Both primary and secondary group can be distinguished from each other on the basis of means of control over their members. Primary group exercises control over its member through informal means such as customs, folkways, moves, etc. Secondary group have limited control over its members. But secondary group control the behavior of its member through formal means such as police, jail, law, court, etc. Difference in goal. Members of primary group have similar or common aim or objectives. Goals of a particular member is considered as goal of all other members. But in secondary group, members have different goals. Each individual has his own goal or aim for the fulfillment of which he joins the group. Next difference is difference in effect on personality. Both primary and secondary group can be distinguished from each other on the degree by which they affect or determine the personality of an individual. Primary group has a greater influence on the development of personality. It influences the total personality of an individual. But secondary group has little influence on the development of the personality of an individual. It is mainly concerned with a particular aspect of the personality of individual. Another difference is physical closeness. Both primary and secondary group could be distinguished on the basis of physical nearness or closeness. Members of primary group live in physical proximity to each other. There exists face-to-face relationship, but members of secondary group lives at scattered places. Physical closeness is absent among the members of secondary group. The relationship among the members of primary group is spontaneous, while the relationship among the members of secondary group is governed by external forces. Next difference is primary relationship is all inclusive. Here each member know each other personally and they are concerned with the total aspect of human being. But secondary relationship is not all inclusive. Here members do not know each other personally. They are not concerned with the total aspect of the life of a member. Now we'll discuss about in-group and out-group. Famous sociologist Graham Sumner classified group on the basis of we feeling. He divided groups into two broad categories, in-group and out-group. In-group are the group with which an individual identifies himself completely. My group, my nation, my city, my family. Individual identifies himself completely with in-group. Members of in-group has a feeling of attachment, sympathy, and affection towards the other members of this group. Best example is family. Family is in group. We have a feeling of attachment, sympathy, and affection towards the other members of the family. In group are generally based on the consciousness of kind. Members of in group identify themselves with the word we. We, people of India. These groups are marked by feeling of ethnocentrism. That is, the member of in group consider their group superior than the other groups. Example of in groups: family, tribe, college, village, nation. The members of in group feel that their personal welfare is in some way or other connected with the other members of the group. In the relationship among the members of in group, they display cooperation, goodwill, mutual help, and respect for each other. Members of in group possesses a sense of solidarity, a feeling of brotherhood. In group, members are always ready to sacrifice themselves for the group. We are always ready to sacrifice our needs, sacrifice ourselves for our nation. This is in group. Characteristics of in group. First is ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism. Our group is superior than any other's group. Next characteristic is similar behavior. We feeling, sense of unity, love, sympathy, and fellow feeling are the characteristics of in group. Out group. Out group is also known as they group, and in group is known as we group. Out group is opposite to in group. An out group is always defined by an individual with reference to his in group. Out group are marked by a sense of difference. Out group are those which a person doesn't belong. Out group people use the term they or other to express themselves. Characteristics of out group. Out group identify itself with the help of they or other feelings. Individual is not a member of this group. Individual expresses a feeling of enmity towards the outgroup. Sometimes individual considered outgroup as his enemy. Outgroup is not based on ethnocentrism. What is difference between in-group and out-group? The group with which individual identifies himself are his in-group. One's family, college are the example of in-group. But out-group refers to those groups with which individual do not identify himself. These are the out-groups. Example, other nations for Indians, they are the out-group. In-group, member use the term we to express themselves, but they use the term they for the members of out-group. Individuals in is the member of his in-group, whereas he is not at all a member of his out-group. You are a member of your in-group, not a member of out-group. In-group is based on ethnocentrism. It is one of the important characteristics of in-group, but out-group, there is no ethnocentrism. Similarity in behavior and opinion, attitude is observed among the members of in-group. But they show dissimilar behavior, attitude, and opinion towards the members of out-group. In-group have a positive attitude towards their own in-group, but have negative attitude towards their out-group. We have a positive attitude for our nation, right? This is in-group. Members of in-group display cooperation, goodwill, mutual help, and possesses a sense of solidarity, a feeling of brotherhood, and readiness to sacrifice themselves for the group. But individual shows a sense of avoidance, dislike, indifference towards the members of outgroup. In-group is a group to which individual belongs to, but all other group to which he doesn't belong are his outgroup. Member of in-group feels that their personal welfare is bound up with other members of the group, but outgroup members do not feel so. Next differentiation. Next is we can divide group into vertical and horizontal group. Miller has divided the group into vertical group and horizontal group. Vertical group consists a member from all walk of life, like occupational group, right? This is vertical group. Horizontal group consists mainly the members from one social class. Example, caste. That is horizontal group. Members of a same caste forms a horizontal group. But a group of doctors, whether they belong to X caste or Y caste, doesn't matter. They are doctors. This is vertical group. Right? So vertical group consists member from all walks of life, while horizontal group mainly consists members from one social class. Next division is voluntary and involuntary group. Voluntary group is one which a person joins his own. It is optional whether one wants to be member or not. Club membership. While involuntary group is one which is beyond one's wish or will. Example, caste and kinship. It is beyond your wish. So today we have discussed about various types of groups, right? We discussed about primary group, we discussed about secondary group, right? We discussed about in group, out group, voluntary group, horizontal group, involuntary group, vertical group, horizontal group. Now we'll discuss about association. What is association? As a social animal, man always lives in a group. Group plays an important role in development of social organization, socialization, and formation of personality. Association is a kind of social group which has many sociological importance. McIver and Page opines that man mainly follows three ways to fulfill his needs and interests. Firstly, man acts independently without considering others. Secondly, he fulfills his self by conflict. Thirdly, he fulfills his interest through cooperation and mutual assistance. Cooperation, conflict, the feeling of interest and utility is supreme in every sphere of life. The group, which are established in order to protect and enhance these interests through fixed rules, system of organization, and formal manner, are called associations. When people take help of other, a group of people organizes themselves for achievement of common interest, an association is formed. Association is an organized group of people pursuing some common interest. Associations are deliberately formed according to some fixed rules. For fulfillment of common interest, it is a formal organization. They offer membership and elect and choose their official for smooth functioning. Association have some sorts of rules, regulations, and code of conduct. Association establish a defined and limited relationship among their members. They are voluntary in nature. Unity and solidarity of association depends on how efficiently and effectively they protect the interest of their members. Examples of associations are trade unions, club, teacher association, political parties, student union. According to Borgadas, association is usually working together of people to achieve some purpose. We can say that association are deliberate formation and formed for the fulfillment of some goals. Association have some sort of organization consisting of rules, regulation, code of conduct. For the formation of association, four things are required. A group of people, people must be organized, and some rules and regulation and common purpose. Today we have discussed about the groups, various types of groups and association. In next lecture, we'll continue with association and we'll discuss about the institution, organization, status and roles. Namaste.